Fabrizio Romano on Omar Marmoush to Tottenham, Roberto De Zerbi press conference comments, and James Maddison injury. Here are your daily Tottenham news headlines. Hi everyone, hope you're well. Welcome back to the channel and to another edition of the Daily Tottenham News Headlines, where I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. My name's Lee, the Dorset Spur, and if you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Okay, so let's get into it. Fabrizio Romano on Omar Marmoush to Tottenham. Omar Marmoush contract will be officially signed on Thursday, tomorrow, to be valid until June 2031, when obligation to buy is going to be met. £50 million plus £10 million add-ons with mandatory buy clause confirmed. No sell-on clause at all for Eintracht Frankfurt, and this has been agreed since Sunday. David Ornstein from The Athletic on Tottenham and Omar Marmoush. Omar Marmoush granted permission to take Tottenham Hotspur medical after saying goodbyes at Manchester City today. 27-year-old joins THFC with a buy obligation for £50 million plus £10 million, in brackets £5 million guaranteed, with a 4-year plus 1-year contract and no Frankfurt sell-on. De Zerbi on Omar Marmoush: you will have to speak to Johan and the board. Spurs boss Roberto De Zerbi on new signing Savio: he must become one of the key players. Roberto De Zerbi on Savio and his record of 2 goals in 2 seasons at Manchester City: his job is to assist and to score goals. We need goals. Roberto De Zerbi on why Savinho changed his name to Savio: I just lost 3-0. Do you think it's a problem for me? And when Roberto De Zerbi on a new start, a fresh start: I am excited to be the Tottenham Hotspur coach. He was asked if he had time. He said, I can't ask for time in football. There is no time. He was then asked about keeping Spurs up last season, now looking forward to this season. And he said, great memories last season. Now we can do something special. Asked about pressure, he said, I want to spend more money. I want to help the club win titles. On habits, environment and mentality, he said, in a few weeks, we will be ready to win 3, 4, 5 games in a row. Monaco have made an inquiry over the availability of Tottenham midfielder Maddison. That's according to Mike McGrath at the Daily Telegraph. David Ornstein on Spurs midfielder James Maddison. James Maddison suffered a slight fracture to the shoulder after falling in Tottenham Hotspur loss at Brentford on Saturday. Scans showed minor damage and hope THFC midfielder back in 10 days to 2 weeks. Trained yesterday, so optimism is that it's not serious. So just some thoughts on this. It seems that David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano are both on the same page. I've seen this reported quite widely now. Omar Marmoush will be coming to Tottenham. Contract to be signed, very soon. Hopefully Thursday, as it's being reported here. 5-year contract, £60 million overall. So they're both in line with that. So it seems like the everything is lining up together. It's been reported that he's been in London already doing his medical. That's been poo-pooed and so on. So there's lots and lots of people in the knows all kind of talking about this. But David Ornstein is considered a top tier source now. Fabrizio Romano is still up there, seems to get a lot of stuff right. So it looks like this could be our 8th signing of the season. Can you imagine 8 signings in one season? is absolutely crazy. But it's one of those things that absolutely had to happen. Had to happen. We were so far behind that, at some point you have to bite the bullet and go, we've got to get out there. We can't tinker. We need to get everyone in at the right level that we need and then go from there. And for me, this is just the start of the journey. This transfer window can't be the be all and end all. It has to keep moving forward. You have to keep going from here. You don't see Arsenal not buying. You don't see Manchester City not buying. You don't see Chelsea not buying. You don't see Liverpool not buying. They keep going. They keep going. They keep refreshing. They keep taking on. But this is a step in the right direction. We've gone from a goalkeeper, defence, midfield, attack. That's where we are. If these are the right people, who knows? We won't know until they start playing together. And it's going to be difficult, going to be a bumpy road. You can't just chuck 8 players into a new team and expect it to click just like that. But let's see where we go from here. In terms of the comments from De Zerbi, check out Chris's video because he has got the whole embargo press conference. I've just picked out some of the top things that he said on there. I thought it was interesting. Really, really deflective. We were all seeing this stuff about Omar Marmoush, and he just said, you'll have to speak to Johan and the board. Stock answer from a manager at all as well. When he was asked about Savio, he made it clear he's got to become one of the key players. He's got to develop. He's got to make that next step now. About his 2 goals in 2 seasons, he's been a substitute. He's not really had a really good run in the side and so on. He's being kept out by some very, very good footballers. He's a young player, but now's his time. And that's what he's saying. His job is to assist and to score goals, and we need the goals. So that's what he's expecting from him. That's what he's pushing him to do. He was asked whether he was the right man to make this happen for Savio. And he said he don't know whether he's the right man, but for sure that's what he's got to do. So there is pressure on Savio to step forward, but he believes in him. He believes that he is the right player. He tried to sign him when he was at Brighton. So all the talk before about him being a club signing, because we were talking about him when it came to Thomas Frank and so on. Okay, but if De Zerbi wanted him at Brighton and he's happy to have him now, then that's good enough. I mean, it kind of puts that to bed. He was asked about his name change from Savinho to Savio, and he said, and it's a stupid question, isn't it? I mean, let's be honest. These guys, they've got access to Premier League managers week in, week out, and they come out with some of the most stupid questions ever. Why would he care whether the bloke wants to be called Savinho or Savio? Does it really matter? But it just shows you the mentality of some of these reporters. And then when he was talked about, this season, it's a new season, it's a fresh start. I'm excited to be the Tottenham Hotspur coach. He can't ask for time. There's no time. He knows that. He was asked about last season. He said, listen, last season's gone. It was great. Yes, we survived. That was the target. But we now need to move forward. A lot was made about him spending money. And he said, if you want to win titles, you've got to spend money. Why is it a problem? Not necessarily in this, he didn't say in this specific conference, but he has said it before, and it's the same thing. It's not a problem when Arsenal do it. It's not a problem when Manchester City do it, or Chelsea, or Liverpool, or anybody else. It's only a problem if Tottenham do it. And he's learning very, very quickly the agenda that is live for Tottenham Hotspur. So he gets it. He gets it. But he says, if you want to win the title, you've got to spend the money that you need to spend. And he is clear, that that's what he wants to do. It's his target. He's not been given that target by the club, but it's his target to win titles. He didn't necessarily mean the Premier League, but he said titles, plural. So you've got, this year you've got the Carabao Cup, you've got the FA Cup. And there has been fans saying they don't care about the Carabao Cup. I mean, who are you to not care about a Carabao Cup? I'm sorry, but it's a trophy. You saw how Newcastle fans reacted to winning the Carabao Cup after 70 odd years without a trophy. Come on, you can't be that naive to think that just because Sky say top 4 or top 5 is the target to get in the Champions League, that's all football's about. It isn't. It's about trophies. It's about winning. It's about having those days out. It's about going with your mates and enjoying seeing a captain lifting lifting a cup. So yeah, so for me, I'm all for it. Carabao Cup, important. Let's get out there. Let's win that. And he was talking about, because a lot of this has been made previously as well, about their mentality at the club and so on and so forth. And it was touched on, but from his point of view, the way I read what he was saying is he's talking about having those targets. When he came in, sorry, when he came in, apologies, when he came in, I'm getting excited, see. When he came in, he said the players were like, we can't even win a game. But by the end of it, they didn't lose games. They were drawing games, winning games, da da da. And what he wants to do is, in a few weeks, we need to be ready. We need to be winning 3 games in a row, 4 games in a row, 5 games in a row. That's your target. That's the mentality you have to change. You cannot be thinking, we can't win a game. You've got to be thinking, we're going to win a game. We're going to win a game. We're going to win a game. And that's what he was talking about. So really good, interesting press conference. I didn't fall asleep at it like I normally do with Thomas Frank, so I quite enjoyed it. I like to listen to that sort of thing, apart from the stupid questions that some of these idiots try to ask, especially the gotcha moments and stuff like that. Nonsense. Anyway, just quickly, Monaco are making an inquiry about Pape Sarr. Looks like Sarr is the one that's going to go. I think he wants to stay in the Premier League, but I'm not being funny, but would you rather live in Monaco? I think I'd probably rather live in Monaco than Nottingham or Newcastle or Leeds or any of those places, if I'm being honest. And no disrespect to those cities, I'm sure they have their really nice parts and great places to live. But I just have a feeling that Monaco is a little bit nicer. Just a view, just my opinion. Chris doesn't condone anything I say, just to be clear. And David Ornstein on James Maddison. You got a feel for Maddison. I know he's getting a lot of flack over not being available, being made of biscuits and all this kind of stuff. And I absolutely get it. I get where people are coming from. But it must be soul destroying that just when you're coming back from one injury, you get another one. And it's almost like, you know what it's like when you've got a cold, you're just getting over a cold, and then you'll get an infection in your eye, and then you'll get an ear infection, or you'll twist your ankle or whatever. It's just one of those situations that when your immune system's down, you're gonna have more problems, and you're focusing on one thing that can impact on something else. It could be out for a couple of weeks. It's a fractured shoulder, so not an awful lot they can do about it, I guess, apart from strap it and stop him running, I guess. But there's optimism. It's not serious. He's training, so let's see where it goes. So yeah, bit of a difficult one to take for him for sure. Anyway, that's it from me. I've rambled on. So thanks for watching and listening. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. I'm Leader Dorset Spur. I'll see you on the next one. And as always, up the Spurs.